Amazing what a little dry spell can do. Despite the downpour, we haven't actually had a lot of rain, and that's my mint looking a bit sorry for itself. And let's look in the greenhouse. I've just been in and watered stuff in here. The first lot of radishes here, bearing fruit, should soon be pulled, but again we're looking very dried out, and I've just given them some water, as have I with the spring onions. They're definitely going out today. Carrots not faring very well. The one that's in there has fallen over. Got a couple of seedlings popping through in this one. These radishes in a bit more of a shaded spot, so they've fared a bit better than the other ones, and they've got decent roots on them, so they're ready to pull. The other carrots are starting to come through now. These ones are the Chantenay. They're doing very well. Cosmos, well, they're doing great. I've taken the sweet peas home. They're growing up a trellis in my back wall. In here we have got some more Cosmos, but still no sign of the Rudbeckia, although I'm not sure what that one is at the back. That might be Rudbeckia seedling, but we'll find out. Everything in here has suffered a bit with the drought, so I've opened the skylight as well as the door today to try and give them some oxygen as well as some heat. Luckily the tomatoes here, despite drying out a bit, have fared quite well, so I'll be putting those on. Look at the state of these. These are my what do you call it, African marigolds. You'd think they'd be a bit used to the drought conditions. In fact, the French marigolds have suffered quite well. The melon, the only one in here, still not looking brilliant. Under here the tomatoes are falling over a bit, but they're going in grow bags today, so they should perk up once I've got them properly watered. But it's amazing what a couple of days of not attending to plot can do. This tomato plant here has started flowering already, thank you Ben. Need to pick out a bit of the side shoots on this one, and even my sunflowers have dragged themselves over there. Corn's coming up well, so that's a good sign. Look at the state of those. They're my beetroot, and my nasturtiums have dried out, and the sunflowers really aren't taking well to this drought. So there we go. I've got to be here every day and I just can't always do it. But more tomatoes coming through okay. Now these are surviving quite well. These are the beans. I might risk putting a couple of these ones out this week, because we've got warm weather, and it's not just warm weather, we've got plenty of sunshine as well, so they should be able to survive it. If I can clear some of this stuff out in here, make some shelf room so I can put the grow bags down. And out there, look at the potatoes here. These are my Charlottes on the left, and on the right hand side, Sapomira, and over there, Marquis. So even the ones in the ground are coming through. So a bit of covering up to do on the spuds today, and I'll have to go over and hoe that bit over there again, because it's only a week since I dug it over, and now you can see the weeds coming back through. Lots of weeds, so I'll have a go at those. Right, let's have a look at everything else on the outside. So if I just zoom out, Daddy's little helper. Hello. You've been a good boy. These have died off a bit last time I was here, but they're seem to be recovering, and these ones have plenty of flowers on them, so I should expect some fruit soon. No sign of any fruit just yet. I'll get rid of this lot today, just chip it out with a hoe. Peas are falling over, but they'll be put back up again. Got a few more bits and pieces to put into the rockery here, and over there I've got some lettuce to plant. These are two types of lettuce. We've got on the left little gems, and on the right another one. I can't remember what they're called. I'm hopeless with things like that. And a few flowers, and look at this runner bean. It's the only Scarlet Emperor that I've got, and it was growing on my windowsill. I had 6 of those pots, each of which had 3 seeds in it, so I should technically have 18 bean plants. Got 1. The pond is surviving well. None of that rain washed any of the soil away, which has given the roots a chance to get established, and as you can see by the amount of blooms I've got, they're liking it here. That's good. The heather's picked up as well. Heather. I keep calling the lavender heather for some reason. That's because I'm a Scot, I suppose. In Scotland you've got lavender and heather sort of intermixed on the mountains. Hi. Well, back over here we've got more lavender, which has had a good soaking this week and is going green again. It's a good sign. And as I said, the marquees are growing. This row here doesn't seem to be coming on as fast. It's weird because they've got the same soil treatment on both sides. In fact, the middle is where I dug it up from both sides. But I'll be covering this lot over anyway today. I think I might leave this one for another few days, but I've definitely got to cover over the ones in the bucket, because they're all over the place. Yeah, we've had a good show of spuds here. I reckon I'll have some nice salad potatoes out of that lot soon. They're terrific. Now over here, this is what I was talking about. It's only dug over a week ago when I put in this wood chip, and now after a couple of days of rain, weeds are coming back, including the grass. So it doesn't take long, does it? The gooseberry likes the rain. It seems to have flourished in the last few days. All my water butts are nice and full now. More rhubarb soon to pick. Lots of rhubarb soon to pick by the look of it. Yeah, shorter stalks this time, but there'll be some food on there. No sign of flowers on the gooseberries yet. And up here, got weeds growing through the asparagus, so I'll have to pull them out. Don't want weeds on your asparagus. This one's a nightmare for me because it's when I kneel here I can't get back up. There's nowhere to put my walking stick that isn't soft, so I need to be careful how I do that. Tony's trees are doing well. All his fruit growing beautifully. I did pop up to see Tony a few minutes ago, but I did see him when I came in, but he's vanished. Never mind, I'm sure we'll see him later on. Right, so before I start, I'm going to put the kettle on and have myself a nice cup of coffee. And Marley is happy to see me. Hello, Marley. Oi, you're not looking at me? Marley. Hey. Hello. Daddy's dog, aren't you? Hey? You look like you need one. He's been looking under the tarpaulins today, getting very excited. I think he can smell a rat or two. So I might let him loose up there later on and see if he can eradicate them. Right, time to go and put that kettle on. Speak to you all later. I've got my peas, all of them, including my purple podded peas, up on a, what do you call this thing? It's not a wigwam, it's that sort of thing, frame. And one of my runner beans, which is one of the few survivors, Scarlet Emperor, because it's so mild at the moment, I'm risking it outdoors, because I mean there's nothing happening with the others anyway, although I have got the blue lakes coming, so I'll be putting those out in the very near future. Very pleased the way this is holding up. I thinned out the lavender today, gave some to my plot neighbour. It's just getting a bit too thick in that planter, so I might move some into a different planter or move some into the ground. Next week I've got some pondweed coming, and hopefully a little fountain, that's the word, floating one, solar. On here I've basically topped up all my spuds that are in buckets. They were all getting very high, so it's not a problem. I think we've lost the last of the frost now. So I should have some shallots nice and early for a nice salad in the summer. These went in on St Patrick's Day, so we're working out from there. Where were we? I haven't done anything to the rhubarb. I'm losing my balance a bit, which means it's time to go home. I never get through a day without falling over. Given this about 2 gallons of water today, it has perked up a bit. Likewise, this strawberry bed here is way behind that one, but then again it started late, so you never know, it might catch up. Chives are in flower, and in here everything's looking a little bit better since it had some water. You can see that the cosmos are following the sun. Earlier on they were pointing to the right hand side as we look at them. Now they're pointing to the left, which is where the sun's going down. One thing, the cucumbers. These are the ones that I videoed earlier, or photographed earlier, that had chitted. And this one is the Burt Plus, and this one is the Market More. And as you can see, they've taken into the soil quite well. They've been in there about 6 hours and they haven't faltered, so it's a good sign. Still never got those planted. I'll get round to it. I should be cropping some of these now, so I'll look at that. More cosmos, they're coming on really well. I've moved the sweet corn out of the main greenhouse. This is slightly less warm. If we look here, there's 2 different types of sweet corn. There's Swift and there's Golden Hind. The Swift are these ones at the front, and the Golden Hind are the greener ones. We'll see how they compare to each other. Carrots still going on. These have recovered a bit since I gave them some water earlier, because they were looking a little bit bedraggled. I dropped this, so my fault. It wasn't anything to do with heat. I say I dropped it. I was working on the other side, putting the tomatoes into their grow bags, which you can see is now happening. And while I was working there, I must have pushed the frame of the greenhouse, and this lot ended up on the floor. So fortunately most of the seeds were still in the soil, so I basically just turned everything back up the right way and put it up here. It looks a mess. These tomatoes were looking a bit withered earlier on. They too have come back to life, as have all of these things. I mean, the Godetia looked terrible. I mean, I didn't think it was going to survive at all, but suddenly we've got some colour coming back. And here we go, the Mesembryanthemum coming along really nicely. I haven't got a clue what they look like. I've never really been a flower person. But this is a Godetia as well. And it's a different type of Godetia to this one. And of course, more cosmoses. The Swede were looking a bit bedraggled and dead. It's amazing what a little bit of water will do. And yet more sweet corn. And this one is Swift. Yeah, so that's all Swift in there, I believe. Yeah, Swift. So all the sweet corn's coming along. I don't think I'm going to have much luck getting my nasturtiums back. They definitely look as though they've done it, as has that sunflower there. Terrible. And this one. They got roasted. Too many medical appointments. I don't get a chance to get to the greenhouse. And it is a scorcher in here today. Inside the greenhouse at the moment is 33 degrees in Celsius. I don't know what that is in old money, but I will check. It's the hottest it's been in here since I've had the plot. And as you may have noticed earlier, the tomatoes were all falling over. Well, bit of water and they all seem to have revived now. What I did with these grow bags is I put a hose into it. There it is there. Cut the bottom off a bottle and I used it as a funnel. And I put the hose in about 3 or 4 inches away from each of these stakes and just filled up that funnel with water and kept watering it and watering and watering it until it couldn't take anymore. And I did that with all of these stations where I've planted the tomatoes. As you can see, they've all recovered quite well. I'm using those little clips there to hold them on. Cable ties they call those. I've had to move these along because they were spaced out so that I could only get 3 to a bag, when in reality they're quite capable of doing 4 as long as you feed them. These have come on really well. These will be ready for potting on. So I'll be looking at putting those into grow bags. They're going to go on this side because obviously I'm not wasting it. What's on the top here will have to go into the other greenhouse over there. And then I'll put the cucumbers and tomatoes down there. These sunflowers took a bit of a hit from the dryness. They are recovering, but my goodness, they've had a hard time of it today. I'm going to give it all another watering before I go. It's been an absolute scorcher today. This morning it started off damp and then the rest of the day it's been pretty hot. Well, I'm going to water, wrap up and go home. So you'll be pleased to know this is it for today. Bye for now. I forgot to mention that I've planted on some lettuces. These are little gems and these ones are cos. So I just got to wait for them to take in here and then I'll put them outside. They should be able to go out any day now. Lobelia from home. The ones in the greenhouse didn't fare very well. But these ones have come on really well. I've planted some around the pond and I'm just waiting for some calendula to arrive in the post and that should finish off my planting around there. I did get some alyssum, pinched it off a wall near me. There was all the stuff hanging out on the lane, so I just grabbed little stringlets and found stuff with roots on it, wet them and stuck them in the ground. They grow like weeds, so it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, it really is time to go home. Everything's watered, everything's put away, and I'm tired. Bye for now.